Good morning, and welcome to the William Booth Memorial Hall's online worship. My name is Arran Burr, and currently I'm studying the legal practice course at the Nottingham Trent University. I, along with my family, have attended the corps for a good number of years, and during that time, I've been a member of the singing company, the YP band, and I've also been a leader at junior camp. All of these experiences have shaped my faith as it stands today. Today we come to worship at a time where the world appears to be a very different place to what we knew just a few months ago. And as Christians, it is our role to help and encourage those who need us most, and also during this pandemic, to reach out to people who may be feeling lonely due to the lockdown rules. Our worship today will be led by Majors Keith and Vicky Burr, and they'll be assisted by their family. I'm sure we will all be encouraged by their words. Thank you.
Morning and welcome to worship. During lockdown, I've been reading my Bible a lot and I've been praying to God to talk to me about a few things. And I feel like He's told me a lot about two things, hope and fear. So today I want to explore these things through music, the Bible readings and thinking together. But first, let's start worship with a song. Lead Me Higher Up the Mountain, which is 539 in the songbook if you have one with you.
Exodus chapter 4. Moses answered, "What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, 'The Lord did not appear to you'?" The Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" "A staff," he said. The Lord said, "Throw it to the ground." Moses threw it to the ground. It became like a snake, and he ran from it. Then the Lord said to him, "Reach out your hand and take it by the tail." So Moses reached out his hand, took hold of the snake, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. "This," said the Lord, "is so that they might believe the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you." Then the Lord said, "Put your hand inside your cloak." So Moses got his hand and he put it inside his cloak, and when he took it out, the skin was leprous. It became as white as snow. "Now put it back in your cloak," he said to Moses. And he put it back in his cloak, and when he took it out, it was restored like the rest of his skin. Then the Lord said, "If they do not believe you or pay attention to the first sign, they may believe the second. But if they do not believe these two signs or listen to you, take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground, and when the water you take from the Nile hits the ground, it will become blood." Moses said to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I've never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I'm slow of speech and of tongue." The Lord said to him, "Who gave human beings the mouths, or makes them deaf or mute? Who gives the sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say." But Moses said, "Pardon your servant, Lord, but please send someone else."
When her owners realised that their hope of making money was gone, they seized Paul and Silas and dragged them into the marketplace to face the authorities. They brought them there before the magistrates and said, "These men are Jews and throwing our city into uproar by advocating customs unlawful for us Romans to accept or practice." The crowd joined in the attack against Paul and Silas, and the magistrates ordered them to be stripped and beaten with rods. After they had been severely flogged, they were thrown into prison, and the jailer was commanded to guard them carefully. When he received these orders, he put them in inner cells and fastened their feet into the stocks. After midnight, Paul and Silas were praising and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly, there was a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. All at once, all prison doors flew open, and everyone's chains became loose.
Trust the sweetest friend, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. Come on, every voice. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest friend, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak and made strong in the Savior's love through the storm. He is the Lord, Lord our when darkness seems to hide His face, I rest on His unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. My anchor holds within the veil. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak and made strong in the Savior's love through the storm. He is the Lord, Lord of all. He shall come with trumpet sound. Oh, may I then in Him be found. Oh, yeah. Dressed in His righteousness alone, faultless stand before the throne.
Today I want to talk to you about hope and fear. Let's start with hope. What does it mean? The Oxford Dictionary suggests it's a feeling of expectation and desire. But what does it mean in the Bible? Let's talk about Paul. He spent his days preaching until Jewish leaders got jealous and got him in prison. There he was beaten and punished. But Acts chapter 16 verse 25 says, about midnight Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns. This behaviour is not common of a man who's getting beaten every day. He was praising God despite his persecution. Think also of Job. He lost his house, farm, cattle, and his children, all in one day. But Job 1:20 says, "At this Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship." Two men, who could easily believe that God has abandoned them, fall to their knees and praise God on high. In these men, we see the real meaning of hope. Because hope isn't about the chance of something happening. It's about knowing that no matter what, if you worship the Lord, he will save you. It is praising God because you trust that you will be saved as he promised you would be. So keep praising God, because it does make a difference. Acts 16:25 carries on to say, "And the other prisoners listened." If in tough times, like this pandemic, you praise God, you can help those around you. Your praise allows the light of God to shine on others so they can be saved as well. Because hope isn't about chance. Hope is all about worshipping in the difficult times, when all seems lost, so that you and those around you can be saved. But that doesn't mean you can't be scared. Sometimes, when people focus on praising God, they don't consider fear. We all feel it. We know others that feel it. So are we wrong to be scared when others can continue to be joyful? Of course not. I think we all know Moses. He's certainly not a small character in the Old Testament. He was chosen to save God's people, and yet he was riddled with fear. Think back to when he met God as the burning bush. God shows that he has prepared everything for Moses. He also shows that he has unimaginable power. And yet, when God tells him to go to Egypt, Exodus chapter 4 verse 13 says, "But Moses said, 'Pardon your servant, Lord. Please send someone else.'" Despite the fact everything is prepared for Moses, he is still fearful. Think also of Jesus' closest companions, the disciples. Jesus tells him that after his crucifixion, he will rise again. But when Jesus is arrested, they run away. Peter, who does say, denies even knowing Jesus. These men have seen Jesus perform countless miracles. They've seen him heal the incurable, calm the seas, and even raise a man from the dead. But when it most mattered, they ran away. As I think we all know, Moses went to Egypt and did free the Israelites. The disciples preached across the world and created Christianity as we know it. In this time, we need to remember that it's okay to be scared. Because as long as you have hope and worship God, you will be saved. So please, keep praising God, because a time will come when we will return to normal, when our strife has ended. Because the Lord our God is almighty, and if we worship him, we will be saved. Now, as we think, reflect and pray, I want you to listen to the words of this next song, Be Still by Hillsong, and bring your hopes and fears towards God's presence. And then afterwards we'll sing a song together for the benediction.
Be still and know that the Lord is in control. Be still, my soul. Stand and watch as giants fall. I won't be afraid, for you are here. You silence all my fear. I won't be afraid. You don't let go. Be still, my heart, and know I won't be afraid. Be still and trust what the Lord has said is done. Find rest, don't strive. Watch His faith and grace align. I won't be afraid, for you are here. You silence all my fear. I won't be afraid. You don't let go. Be still, my heart, and know I won't be afraid. Surely love and mercy, your peace and kindness will follow me, will follow me. Surely love and mercy, your peace and kindness will follow me, will follow